Jeff Tamelier is an established artist, musician, producer, and educator who has enjoyed playing with and producing artists from all walks of life, including alternative, country, rock, funk, hip-hop, R&B, smooth jazz, and techno. Jeff has performed and toured as lead guitarist for Tony Lindsay, Tower of Power, and with Mickey Thomas and Starship, while endorsing Dunlop, Fender, and Monster Cable. He learned the fundamentals of playing guitar at age 9 from a blind teacher and mentor, Jim Phillips, a.k.a. Blindgym. In 1985, he joined Lydia Pense and Cold Blood, a popular East Bay band from Bill Graham's San Francisco label. Today, Jeff spends time as president of House Hansen Productions, LLC, where he is responsible for all music production and client services at the Track Shack Studios in Sacramento, California, and performs regularly with various artists and bands at venues all over the Bay Area.
You're listening to Soundwall with Adam Schumann, presented by Danville Music, your local music store.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Adam Schumann, and you're listening to Soundwall, presented by Danville Music. Today, our guest is Jeff Tamelier, who's a guitar player extraordinaire and a Bay Area gem. Not only does he do producing, but he also is a songwriter and a fantastic guitar player. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being on our show.
Oh, this is great. Thanks for having me.
And the first question I'd like to ask is, when did you first fall in love with music, and what was the Tamelier household like?
Well, luckily, I had a brother 7 years older than me because my parents were jocks in the 50s, and my dad was more of an Eisenhower dad, and my mom was more of an Elvis parent. So there wasn't a ton of music, but because of my brother, I was 7 years above. I listened to what he listened to. So obviously the Beatles were the first thing I remember, and I really remember them through the cartoon because I was 4 years old. We had the record in our house, and they put it on. Meet the Beatles I'm talking about. But the cartoon, for a 4-year-old kid is what kind of really got me into them. And then we pretty much had every record all the way up until they broke up. So they were definitely first, and but I had no idea I was going to be in a band. That's not what I wanted to do. It was play baseball. My dad played professional baseball. My mom was a tennis champion in San Francisco in high school. So they were jocks. And growing up in the late 60s, the last thing a lot of parents want is your kids to be musicians and end up in the hate. And, it was pretty crazy time. So I just kind of fell into it, One day we were playing ball at school. We were all in third grade, and let's start a band. And one of the moms said, "Well, okay, what harm is it going to do? It's not going to turn into anything." And we got this female high school guitar player, more of a Joan Baez, just showing us finger picking, and it was cool. We were playing guitar, but in that same house, I heard this guy just banging on the drums, real drums. Back then nobody had drum sets back then. And I'm going, well, what's going on back there? And she goes, well, that's my brother. His name's Jim. You want to meet him? And I go, well, yeah, I want to go where the groove is. And he was really good. It turned out he was blind, so it was a trip. She opened the door, and he had like hundreds of records, and kind of tunnels to his bed where he had his turntable, mono, one of those old ones. He had another lane that went to his drums, and another lane he played guitar as well. So I actually kind of ended up hanging with him because, I wanted to learn Creedence Clearwater and Cream and Hendrix, everything that was kind of hip then. I like Joan Baez, but I like those guys better, especially for guitar. So that's how I kind of got started, and I just kept playing. Once again, the plan was to either go play basketball or baseball somewhere, but I performed with his band. He was 18, I was 11, and I played rhythm guitar at this block party, and I think that's what kind of sparked it. I go, this is pretty cool.
Now, leading up to that, what were you? How were you getting your music education? Were you listening to the radio records? Did you have any school classes? Were you doing music?
No.
In any sort of official
no, I
way?
had my brother and what he listened to. So when I'm say 6, I'm listening to the Love and Spoonful and the Buffalo Springfield, and then Hendrix came out, and then Zeppelin in '69. So I got just the core of it through him, which was great. He was a great brother, and he was to this day, he was an excellent, he knew back then, Dickie Betts plays this harmony, and Dwayne plays on the bass pickup of a Les Paul, and I'm going, how do you know all this? You're not a musician. He was just real. He loved music and all kinds, and I got to give him the most credit because I pretty much got turned on to the best when I was young, and still stick with me. That era, 65 to 75, was just, think about it.
Yeah, it's magical.
Yeah. So that got the bug going, and had band in 6th grade. We started a band, and just I think we did Creedence Clearwater. But I'm a big Sly and the Family Stone fan. So when I got to junior high and there was like a horns, I kind of went to that, and then Tower of Power, Cold Blood. I played with both bands. All the great Bay Area bands, the Sons of Champlin. It was fantastic. Malo. They were more Latin rock, but they had horns. So there was just horns all over the place. So we kind of migrated to that. But it was always in a band, always in some sort of band. Nothing serious. I kind of did it for fun,
So with the style you play, especially with Tower of Power, it's going to be like at that time that was like the most modern hip sort of thing going on in funk.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had to kind of go backwards a little bit? And I don't mean backwards in a negative sense. I mean like from a time period sense, to go back to listening to some of the stuff that maybe Creedence listened to, or like the Isley Brothers. I know Jimi Hendrix played in the Isley Brothers before he was doing his solo career. So did you have to kind of reverse engineer your education and kind of go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole for old records, or how did you work that out, or did you just have a great ear and just listen for the different sort of arrangements you wanted to play?
No. The first thing you said, because I think I'm 5 or 6, and that's when I got turned on to Jeff Beck. He was in the Yardbirds, the I'm a Man solo. There was just something about it that was different, and he was different. And Tower toured with him. We can get into that later years. So I got to meet him and do shows with him, which was fantastic. And so there's just something about him. And I'd read Rolling Stone with my brother, and they'd have all these cool details. And Jeff Beck was, he always went back. Who did Cliff Gallup? I think that's who he liked. Les Paul. Who did they listen to? So I kind of, yes, to answer your question, I kind of migrated back to, Sly, because Sly was there first. But who did they listen to? And it was Stax. It was Otis Redding. It was Motown, but really more Memphis. Memphis was a little greasier, I thought. Motown was great, but a little more, planned, more pop oriented. And so yes, I did. I still do that. I still go back and go, where did that lick come from? It had to come from somewhere. Now you see online they're going, well, "Smoke on the Water" was this Polish polka tune. You've seen
right.
So if you dig back far enough, everything's kind of been influenced. But yeah, that's a good question, because it was just kind of playing John Lennon and playing what you knew, Clapton, Leslie West, but as far as like groove and style, yes, absolutely. I had to go back and kind of see where it all came from.
So for some of our younger or aspiring guitar players, if you could recommend like 3 records from Memphis to get that sort of kind of dirty grease and edgy sound, where would you steer them towards?
Boy, that's a tough one. I would probably say, believe it or not, Albert King, "Born on the Bad Side." It's more blues, but it's definitely tough R&B, not super funky. Steve Cropper was like the funkiest 2 and 4 guitar player ever. He made 1, 2, 3, and 4 super funky somehow. That's a good question.
I love Steve Cropper.
Yeah.
And on a side note, I love those beats with like, and when you hear Billie Jean, like to make something that simple groove so hard, Steve Cropper has that in his hands too.
He was the king. He was the king of 1, 2, 3, and 4 funk. But I'm going to have to go with Otis Redding. I probably can't nail the record. But him, Wilson Pickett, Any Booker T and the MGs, because that's raw. There's no vocals, so it's all rhythm sections, so you can really hear how they're really playing parts, not getting in the way of each other, and really making it swing, really making it super deep. So I learned a lot from that when there was like no vocals, you can kind of hear what everybody was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam and Dave. I love Sam and Dave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and I have something in common to where we both have played the smaller bars in Concord circuit, being from similar areas.
Yeah.
So we played the same places like Vinny's and Timeout and tell me about the circuit as you're cutting your teeth. At what age were you starting to play at these bars?
Probably 19. And the first one I remember was a place called Arturo's. It was up on Main Street, Walnut Creek. And I still see Art. He's 80 now, but, I say, thanks for letting me drink in your bar when I was 16, Art. That was, and it's funny because all the guys who still kind of are playing and making a living, we all kind of started there. Steph Burns, Mark Russo, Dave Matthews, myself, Curtis Olson, still playing music, 50 years later. But it was there. And then the big one was Mountain Jacks in Lafayette. That really became a 7 days a week, great music, people all over the Bay. But there was, you could play seven nights a week all year. There was so many places to play. It's not, I feel kind of sorry for the kids now because it's
DJs have taken over.
Yeah, and then the tribute band, which bless their hearts. It's great if they're having fun, but bands coming out with original music and just coming out with. They used to go watch each other. Jeff Campitelli, who I play with all the time, we did shows with the Squares. That was his first band. I think we were both still in high school, and Joe Satriani, guitar player in the Squares. So this goes back, But yeah, the Concord ones were the Lucky Lion, which is over in the Park and Shop Mall. I don't know what it is now. Vinny's was called Hovey's Roadhouse. TR's Bar and Grill, which you said you bartended at, right?
Yeah.
Then the Timeout, and I think that was about it. Walnut Creek had Charlie Gringo's Abernathy's. That was a big one. Charlie Gringo's. Carlos Murphy's, which was over by the Concord Mall there.
Mm-hmm.
Danville had it was just, you could play whenever, as much as you wanted, and you weren't even into San Francisco yet, which was a whole nother, when you got over there, that was pretty cool.
Okay, was that scene like we're now getting closer to making it, like that sort of feel?
You thought so. I don't know if you remember the Keystones.
Mm-hmm.
There was Keystone, Berkeley, Palo Alto, and the Stone, which I think was the last one. That was like, we got in there. It was like, it's all over, man. We're going to be huge.
Yeah.
And we were for a day. So, and then the Bill Graham's, Old Waldorf, and Wolfgang's, and then you just kind of climb the ladder, and
yeah,
I really can't say how. I just put my head down and played, and it ended up good,
So, I've noticed that I think some of the greatest bands started off as cover bands, like when you think of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Half their first album was covers. Rolling Stones were a cover band. Led Zeppelin played a bunch of cover songs and blues. Van Halen, they were a cover band. And they broke out. What is it about playing these small clubs and, I guess, dissecting the music? What is it that makes the band better when they start going down that path? What elements are they learning? And what did you learn?
Oh, from playing cover tunes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everything, But back then, there's weren't as many boxes around the music, It was, everybody liked everything, You put on AM radio, KFRC, remember KFRC or KYA, and you could hear, Buck Owens, then you'd hear a Whole Lot of Love, then you'd hear the Beatles, then you'd hear, there was no barriers. There was no, this is your country, hip hop, Latin, there's too many. There's too many boxes now. So I think everybody liked everything back then.
I couldn't agree more. One of the things that I don't like about the Spotify format and the Pandora is it's all going in algorithms.
Yeah.
Whereas when you have a DJ, the DJs would be eccentric, right? They like I'm in the 60s.
Yeah.
And one day they might play the Isley Brothers. One day they might play Zeppelin. They might play Bob Dylan after that, and then they might play Engelbert Humperdinck and
Exactly.
everything in between.
Tom Jones.
So you're saying because of the eccentric nature of FM radio as it was, or AM radio, you're saying that there was a crowd expectation that was very different than what that you think of today.
Absolutely, because everybody really liked everything, I think, and Bill Graham had a lot to do with that. I was too young for the original Fillmore, but my brother wasn't. Once again, there he was. He goes, Jeff, you should see this concert. It was Cold Blood and Hugh Masekela and Miles Davis, and then 10 years after. I mean, and that's what Bill did. And actually, the blues dudes, B.B. King, and they became stars because they came to the Fillmore. Because there's a guy named Nick Gravenitis. He wrote Born in Chicago. He's one of the guys who came out from Chicago to the city in the early '60s, and Mike Bloomfield, they were best friends. And he said, "Man, you got to get out here. There's a scene. This guy Bill Graham's putting on these shows. There's music in the park. There's all this energy." So that's why Bloomfield came out here. They had a band called the Electric Flag.
Mm-hmm.
They were a horn band too. Buddy Miles on drums. And Bill Graham just adored Mike Bloomfield. Goes, "Man, you're so good. Who do you listen to?" He goes, "Well, I listen to Albert King. I listen to Freddie King. I listen to Otis Rush." So Bill brought those guys into the Fillmore and made B.B. King a star. B.B. King then went to Vegas, and it was all over,
Yeah.
So a lot of it was that type of, vision, I think, was on the radio, too, that Bill Graham, said, "Hey, all music's good, if it's good."
Right. Now, did you get the opportunity to work with him much?
Bill?
Yeah.
A few times, he managed Cold Blood. That was his first band, and I was in Cold Blood in the 80s, and he also managed Tower, so he would come around. I saw him the night he died, unfortunately. He was flying from the pavilion. It was a Huey Lewis in the News show, and it was raining horribly, and he took off, and that was it. That's the last time we saw him. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he was, I wouldn't say I knew him, but I did enough shows with him where I knew, you just stay out of his way.
He's not going to give you a big old hug.
It was, it's just, "You guys sound great. Where's Lydia?" And
yeah.
One time, it was after the '89 earthquake, and they put these shows together. And we played at the Kaiser. I think it used to be the Oakland Auditorium. It was Cold Blood, Tower, and then Bonnie Raitt came up, and her drummer, who's a friend of mine, his name's Tony Bronigal. Bob Hope was there, so Bill brings him up to talk to the crowd. Tony Bronigal starts tuning his snare, and I don't know if I can curse on this show, but if I can't repeat what.
Sure, go for it.
Oh, hey, you dumb motherfucker, who this is, and it was Bill Graham. He was menacing when he would yell at you. I saw, so it was pretty funny. Yeah, he had a little temper. But I miss him, man. He did so much for music.
Yeah, not only from a musical standpoint, clearly, but I'm sure that broke down a lot of barriers for civil rights, having some of these artists come in and
absolutely,
open people's eyes, right?
100%, yeah. And that they could say Woodstock called him and said, "Man, we're in trouble. We don't know what we're doing here. We have this little farm. There's like 10 of us, and it's the first concert." So he flew out and said, "I'll help you. 2 conditions: Santana plays, Sly and the Family Stone plays." And that's how those bands, after Woodstock, both those bands just blew up.
Now, did he have skin in the game? Were they artists for Bill Graham at that point? Or
Santana was.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know who managed Sly back then. But that was part of the deal, I heard.
Wow.
Another good story I heard was the Jeff Beck group with Rod Stewart when they were at their peak.
The Paces?
The Truth.
Oh, The Truth.
Yeah, that great record. And they were supposed to play, and Jeff Beck found out that he had to follow Sly and the Family Stone. He goes, "I ain't gonna be there. No way."
Really, Jeff Beck said that?
Yeah,
huh?
that's one of the times supposedly he quit. I guess he quits a lot, but
Huh.
yeah. How about that?
Wow.
Lots of history.
Yeah. virtuoso like that. That surprises me.
But everybody in the world knew how important and great Sly the Family Stone was kind of my point, And bless his heart, he's gone. But man, that was a band.
Yeah. Now, so during this process, you talked about Cold Blood.
Yeah.
And that you joined up with Mickey Thomas.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how that came about?
Yeah, sure. Mickey, before he was in the Starship, was in the Elvin Bishop band.
Mm-hmm.
The song "Fooled Around and Fell in Love." That's Mickey singing.
Oh, cool.
Nobody knows it. They think it's Elvin, but if you listen, you could hear him. So they were residing out here. I was still in high school, but eventually, when my band got into the clubs, I met this guy Bill Slace, and he was in that band. Him and Mickey grew up together, and he goes, "Bill, I really want to do an R&B band." And we did all Otis Redding. We did all Stax, that Little Gadget, and the Soulful Twilights band. So I got the call.
Cool.
And that's how I met Mick. And that band lasted maybe about 2.5 years. And Mickey's wife at the time went, "You know what? No, you're done with this," because we were having a lot of fun. So that's how I met Mick, and then, years later, when the Starship broke up and he put it back together, he called me. So that was my connection with him. I think that was 90 or 91.
Okay. So he was on a break during the Starship thing. They had some sort of bad breakup, or?
Yeah.
Okay. To put it lightly.
Yeah. It wasn't good, but,
So members.
All these hippies they were so mellow back then. They're all suing each other. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more free love. No. More free.
No.
No more communes.
No. But one of my best friends still, I love him to death. I produced a record for him called Marauder, which was all cover tunes. I think I'm going to say 2012, something like that. I was off the road by then, producing more. So he still sounds like Mickey Thomas. Credible singer.
That vocal performance on "Fool Around and Fell in Love."
Yeah.
Oh, man, gets me every time.
Great story. Can I tell you?
Please.
Okay, so Mickey was a background singer in Elvin. Mickey grew up singing with this guy Gideon, who was a gospel singer from Georgia. That's where Mick's from.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved out to San Francisco, and Gideon knew Elvin. So Mickey was just a background singer. And then they started giving him some cover tunes and going, well, wow. But Bill Simzik produced the Elvin Bishop record, Strutting My Stuff. I think it was on 75 or 6. And he produced the Eagles, as you probably well know. And Elvin was singing, "Must Have Been Through About 1,000,000 Girls." And they're going, no, this is not working. So they go to Mick, and he goes, they were going to can the song. And Simzik goes, "You want to take a crack at it?" One take.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so soulful and so great.
He's a freak. If you have a chance, go to Mickey Thomas Howard Stern show, and we played on the show. And they called us because Paul Kantner, the other Starship, there was 2 Starships, kind of, and they're all fighting in court. I had
intergalactic battle.
Yeah. They used to call us the evil Starship. We called them Jefferson Wheelchair. So Paul and Marty, who were great guys, I had no problem with any of these guys, but they went on the Stern show and just were bashing Mickey, and we built this city on rock and roll. Fuck you, no, you did, all that stuff. A terrible song and blah 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 blah. So they call Mickey and go, "Hey, you want to defend yourself?" And he goes, "Yeah." When? He goes, "Tomorrow." So he calls me. He goes, "We catch a red eye to New York," and we got pretty drunk on the plane. I got to say, they had to wake us up. So it's like 7 a.m. in New York, and I think it was on Madison Avenue. So we go upstairs to the Stern show, and sure enough, there's Wii magazine hookers in the front, the full. It was live, and we're just kind of trying to wake up. But the good part of the story is we did "Fool Around and Fell in Love," and he, hung over like on a mic like this, me playing guitar, no big deal, and he just nailed it. You got to check it out. It's incredible.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Howard.
I mean, when Howard calls and says you got to defend your honor,
Yeah.
you get your ass on red one.
And then he was just well, Mickey, they weren't shit until you came back in. You had all these hits. You should be pissed. So he was just egging Mickey on. Who's pretty. He's a pretty good dude. He won't throw stones unless he has to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. Well, I think it's about time to take a break.
My glass is empty. It's long.
Yeah. Well, we'd like it to be full.
And the name of this place
is the Hop Grenade.
Hop Grenade in Concord. People come out here and hang, have beers. It's an excellent place. It's been here 11 years, right by Toto Santos Park. I recommend coming here first, and then coming here after. How's that?
Yeah. No, we're very lucky to use this place. Justin, the owner, I lived with him for I think 9 or 10 years. He was the best man at my wedding, and we've hated each other ever since.
That's how it goes.
So yeah, please come down here. It's a great spot. So we're gonna go fill up our buckets and come on back.
All right.
Musicians, it's Black Friday, so put that turkey leg down. Come on down to Danville Music. We've got all the best guitars. We've got all the best gear. Join us at Danville Music or danvillemusic.com, your local music store.
And we're back with Jeff Tamelier at the Hop Grenade. And I wanted to talk to you about like your first guitar and how your gear has evolved through the years and how it changes depending on which groups you're playing with and what style you're playing with, and what are your preferences amongst those, if you don't mind?
Great question. First guitar I had was out of Blue Chip Stamps. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay, well, I think it was every time you got filled up, they had this little book and they'd give you 10 stamps. And when you filled it up, you could like buy shit. And so there was that's where I got my first guitar. It was a Blue Chip Stamp guitar.
So was it one gas station doing this? Or was
I think
it was
Shell. I think it was Shell. They always had some sort of presidential coin or a no pest strip. They're always giving shit away. But this was, they were blue chip and green chip stamps. And so if you filled them up, there was a catalog and you could pick what you want. So that's how I got my first guitar. I can't even remember the name of it. But then I got one through Sears, which have become kind of popular, the Silvertone.
Oh, nice.
And it was the one with the case was the amp.
Uh-huh.
You seen that?
Yes.
So that was the next one. I didn't care back then. My parents let me have an electric guitar and instead of the baseball bat. Was kind of nice after a while. But then my brother, once again, he had a buddy and they said, "Oh, your brother's playing guitar. He really likes it." He goes, "Hey, we'll sell him we have a Mustang we're getting rid of and a blackface Princeton, a real blackface Princeton."
Oh man, those are the best.
Both for $150. I got it, and you know what they're worth now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like really cool. I was, that must have been 6th grade.
Side note: Princeton is one of my favorite amps of all time. One
So
of the best
good.
circuits.
I love 10. It's a 10, right?
Yeah, 10-inch. Yeah.
Yeah, 10-inch, like the Supers 10s too. I love that.
Yep.
So it didn't have the stripe, the Mustang, but it was a Fender. It was great. Yeah, no pedals yet. I didn't know what a pedal was. So it was clean. You just turned it up to 10, and that's how you got distortion, which was what they made pedals for, was to sound like that, a Marshall on 10. But so I kind of had that all through when I was early playing. Really didn't get into any. The wah-wah was probably the next thing I got into.
And who made you want to get that? Which guitar player?
I would say Hendrix, Beck. I'll go Clapton, White Room, Tales of Brave Ulysses, Freddie Stone, Sly's brother, who's, in my opinion, the best funk guitar player ever. And he played on my record and my video. I'm so honored.
Oh man,
we can
awesome.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But it was a unique sound. I mean, actually, obviously, Hendrix took it to a whole nother level. But Jeff Beck too, and But the funk part of it had not come out yet. It was more kind of for soloing and Voodoo Child. But to actually put it in songs, I think Freddie was one of the first ones to do that. The James Brown guys weren't doing that, and you weren't hearing that from Cropper. There was no wah-wah. It was Freddie first, wah-wah Watson, and then, in the 70s, everybody had a wah-wah pedal.
Right.
The porno wah-wah. We used to say, streets of San Francisco, waka, waka, waka.
There's a figure out there where it boosted stills at least 10% due to the wah-wah pedal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I played on a couple Carol Doda tracks, by the way.
Did you ever get to meet her?
I did. She was the singer, and she was the singer.
Oh. Boy, could she sing.
She had lungs, that's for sure.
Excellent. So do you play with the wah-wah? Is that something typically on your board now?
Depends. Not always. When I'm playing Sly stuff or funk stuff, yeah, I'll have it there. But it depends on I don't know, about Camp Jeff at Luca. We could talk about that later. Me and Jeff Campitelli. So there are times where I'll have it there. We do a lot of Zeppelin, but mainly for funk, I used it quite a bit.
Okay. So going into funk, you're playing with Tower Power.
Yeah.
So what does your live rig look like? Like, what guitars are you using? What amps are you using? Like, if you when you're on stage with them.
Pretty simple, that band. The Starship rig was a little more. There's a little more stuff. Fender on Fender. I used a Telly mainly and a Strat, and I used a Vibra King, which I still have. Killer amp.
Yep.
And kind of a small pedal board. Dunlop, would always Dunlop and Associates, Benicia, California. My guys have been taking care of me for 30 years. They'd always, I'd say, I need this sound, not too dirty. And they would always hook me up, and they've taken great care of me.
Which Dunlop pedals do you like the best?
Back then, they made one for me called the Capricorn because I had that nickname. I don't know why. But so it was just kind of it was a boost with a little bit of distortion in it, and it worked. And then they had the wah-wah bass octave, phase shifter, not too much, the funk guitar, that was more just every once in a while throw something in there like on a ballad. But I mainly went for the clean James Brown, bullet in the head, just boom, trebly cutting through.
Right.
So, I try not to mess with that too much, that sound.
And for Starship, though?
Totally different. So I would say, people ask me that in clinics all the time, I would say the Starship sound, and this is a trip because when I got the gig, I pretty much played through little amps, and then all of a sudden there's 10,000 people in front of me, and I got all the solos, and got to get these people off. So that's when I learned about Marshalls, and so eventually I used a Marshall half stack and a twin for clean. Tube Screamer. Mm-hmm. I'd use the distortion on the Marshall and the Tube Screamer, just kick it in, and
the twin is loud as hell.
Oh, geez, and heavy as hell too. Yeah. Short period with the racks. I wasn't too into that. I thought it kind of squashed the tone every time you put something in there. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had the front of house do any delays, but that was it. It was great. Pretty simple. I probably use more shit now, which I don't need to.
So it was the TS-808, I assume?
Pardon me?
The original Tube Screamer, the TS-808?
Yes.
Yeah.
Killer.
So that was, that's a legendary pedal.
No, it has not been duplicated. I mean, close, but it just has a thing. I think the Morning Glory is about the closest.
That's a great pedal.
Which I think I got from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dunlop G, the Timmy, if you turn it back, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the one you gave me for my birthday, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. That the little red one. I can't remember what it was called, but it's great. It was a custom shop Dunlop pedal, just enough, For Tower Power, it's more kind of a cleaner, bluesier tone. Starship was more of a rock and roll tone.
Right.
Yeah. Les Pauls I used in Starship and Fenders in Tower. And I'd say the tone had to go this way. So my hands are going wide with Starship, and with Tower of Power is more a spot in the band because there's 10 guys, horn section. So I kind of had to have a tone that fit in a spot rather than covering up, that wide sound.
I mean, guitar by nature is a percussive instrument.
Absolutely.
I feel like the funk music utilizes it more like a percussion instrument than like a Starship would.
I do. I mean, I learned stuff from conga players. I'll go, wow, that was cool. I'll just make a guitar part out of it, and it's like, wow.
Cool.
So I learned guitar from organ players, percussion players, drummers, all the stuff. But percussion for sure. Yeah, it's very percussive. I think James Brown movie. Remember did you see that movie, Get Up, Get On Up?
Yeah.
Maceo, what instrument do you play? I play sax. No, you're a drummer. And he told everybody they're a drummer. You know? And there's a lot to be said for that.
So
he wasn't a very good drummer, but he was right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we both share something as from music education, just playing in the jazz band.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean like going to Juilliard or anything like that, but just playing within the band during school. Yeah. And that was such a benefit for my guitar playing. So tell me about your role and how that fit into you being a shoe-in for Tower of Power.
I would say a lot. I didn't think so back then, but being able to understand Tower of Power to me was like a funk big band. It was, but playing funk grooves rather than swing. But same type of thing. A lot of hits. Drums hitting with the trumpets, and a lot of syncopation, which is all big band. All those charts. So that helped. With kind of separating the 16th and 8th notes and learning when to come in and the different pushes, which is all over big band music. So it was cool doing that. And then like you said earlier, we were out in the bar, Freddie Green, learning that style of guitar. Yep. That's how you do it. That's what it is. It's not a bunch of improvising. There's a part you got to play. And Tower Power was a lot like that.
Yeah. All my favorite guitar players, lead guitar players, would say the same thing, like from Van Halen to both the Jimmys, Page and Hendrix. If you read their interviews, they always say rhythm guitar. That is the most important thing about guitar.
Lost art, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a lost art. I'm hoping it comes back, but it helped me, when I really kind of had to make a decision where which way am I going to go as a guitar player to maybe separate myself from the pack. I went back to that.
What do you think separates yourself from the pack?
I would say that. I would say I had to go with what I thought my strengths were, and then build from that. And I thought was rhythm guitar first. And if you listen to Hendrix, he's both always. All that brilliant chordal stuff, and he's swinging it differently. So super important. I just kind of put committing to the groove first before what kind of solo am I going to play. And that made me a better soloist, I thought, too. It gave me kind of my own slant on things. Where just playing licks, which we all do. They're great. We learned all those great licks from Hendrix, Page, Jeff Beck for me. Just all those guys. Gilmore, they're all so great. But, kind of learning all that stuff and then just turn your brain off and let it fly. Like Jeff Beck plays very much by the seat of his pants. But it's awesome.
I loved my experience in jazz band, but I definitely felt like after I had learned all these chops and stuff like that, I get out into the real world, right?
Yeah.
And then I start playing with singer-songwriter, and and then the producer's like, "What the hell are you doing, man?
Right.
You got to pay tribute to the song." It's almost, for you to have chops at one point in your youthful music career, you have to have overplayed way too much.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn like, no, they don't want to hear that shit.
Well, when I was younger and just starting to record and pretty green, I probably did what you just said. And this pretty famous producer, he goes, "Hey, save it for the solo record." And I went, "What's solo record?" But eventually I got what he meant. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, you're going to be doing solo records if you keep playing like that.
yeah,
right?
you're going to be doing a bunch of them. And they're all going to be in your garage. There's going to be thousands of them.
Yeah.
But I eventually understood that, where you're serving the song and the singer. If you want to be a studio musician, it's making that happening.
Well put. You are in the service industry.
Yeah.
When you're a guitar player or anybody who's playing service to the song, because it's the song message that's at the top of the pyramid, and the minute a lead guitar player realizes that, he gets exponentially more work. Right.
Right. Yeah. So, going back to your jazz band question, that's what I took in from that was learning chords, learning, 4 bars, the repeats, simple charts in the studio. It doesn't have to be all, if it's simple and you know where to go and the repeats are correct, that helped me a lot going to the coda, understanding that. But as far as sight reading, I'll play the notes I have to.
I was always bad at it. And I was bad at it because I had a decent memory, and if I hear a melody once or twice, I'd memorize it.
That's better though to me.
But the jazz band instructors in my time, they were really hard on guitar players. They didn't like we were playing rock and roll.
Right.
I remember my jazz band teacher coming in, my high school jazz band teacher saying, I was playing a Beatles song. I was playing something like Blackbird. He's like, "Is that the Beatles?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "The Beatles are dead." I'm like, "Well, no, at the time only 3 of them are. It's just John." He's like, "Well, they may as well be."
Oh,
and I'm like,
man.
"Oh yeah, what sort of accolades do you have? What did you ever do for the
How do you not like the Beatles? It's just
I
crazy.
don't know, it's
but
weird." But
I have a great jazz band, DVC jazz band.
yeah,
So this is
the night jazz band.
No, I was in I went to after my failing not to get a basketball scholarship or baseball, which very much disappointed my parents. I went to DVC to play basketball and I was going to be in the jazz band. And I go, yeah. They said, well, he loves music. He does this. He's in bands. He's played. So, and this band, the band teacher's name was Chris Nelson. He was, he just kind of not into it. So one time he was gone. It was me, Steph Burns. His name was Birnbaum back then. We were the 2 guitar players in the jazz band.
Oh wow!
I know. You could do worse. I think Dave Matthews was there, who now plays with Santana. We were all real young, so I think we went into Frankenstein or Day of the Eagle by Trower.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in with this red face going, "Don't play that bullshit in my class." And, I think I said, well, class was over an hour ago, and his face was red. He just, "Don't play that shit." It was Frankenstein. What a great song. Come on. You can't play that sax solo.
They tended to be dogmatic when I was going to jazz band, and they would yell at me for not learning how to read music. I'm like, "Look, I'm having a hard time with it, but I hear it once. I hand it to the trumpet player behind me, have him play the melody, and I play that." And then he would just rip me a new one. It's just like, "Well, you're never going to play in a live jazz band, like in a concert, and this and that." I'm like, "Good, I don't have to cut my check 20 different ways."
There you go. That's a good point.
And clearly learning all the styles is of utmost importance. I mean, you can pull so many different things. But what was funny is, like, at the time, the jazz guys like Miles Davis and Johnny Coltrane came out. I mean, they were blackballed too.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like, any dogmatic ideas in music is.
Those guys took chances. They weren't jazz snobs like your teacher and probably my teacher, because jazz snobs were real jazz snobs. As a matter of fact, the Hitsville, the Motown rhythm section, I think was Howard Roberts. He was there first before Tedesco and Glenn Campbell and all the great ones. And he said, "I'm not playing this shit, the rock and roll." And he quit.
Yeah. And
then the Phil Spector crew came in.
Yep.
All these guys could play anything. I mean, Glenn Campbell is unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Tedesco, unbelievable. To hear that he could read. Now, there's a guy who could read anything. I guess he was a real character. I got to meet him, but they went into a session and all the charts were out, and somebody turned his upside down, and he read it perfectly.
It's a skill. It's a toolbox. But it's not the end all, right?
No, but I mean, he was a soul. He's one of those dudes who's still very soulful. He was just a freak, and could do it. His sense of humor was just perfect. I remember him doing a session, or he was doing a clinic, and I was there, and they go, well, how would you play like a Latin groove against that? I think he goes, doom deck 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 deck, and I go, then I go clap, and he goes, how would you play like a New Orleans groove? And he goes, deck deck deck. He played the same thing 4 times, and everybody was laughing. It was just, it's all the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so you did a fair amount of session work.
Yeah, still.
And
I'm lucky too.
How do you think that interprets into live performance?
Okay, that's a great question. I would say the most is that you learn where not to play. That would be the most I got from it.
That's a great answer.
Is where not to play.
The Edge from U2 has this great quote where he just says, "Notes are expensive."
They are. Use them like bullets.
Yep. All right. So
yeah, that was another thing where I kind of found myself is when I learned where not to play, things opened up, and I really got how to fit in with any type of rhythm section. Is where not to play, and if everybody does that, you catch a wave. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cohesive, and no frequencies are mixing with each other, and
everybody's being themselves, and it's cool. And you're smiling, and nobody's overplaying. And they're serving the song. Those little things in mind, but yeah, air is beautiful in music.
I have 3 kids, and they're starting to get into music, and I tell them, if you're constantly talking at somebody, it loses meaning after a while. But if you take a breath and you choose your points to communicate, your point gets across in a lot more dramatic way.
That's Jeff Beck. I mean, he's his notes breathe. And he doesn't. And he won't play. So I love that. I love that.
Not only that, but whenever I watch Jeff Beck, it looks like he is completely like he's like a dictator with his guitar. And I mean that in the sense that he has every nuance, and when you watch him using the whammy bar and his picking, the precision is unbelievable, and it's inspiring and terrifying at the same time.
I was 15 feet from him for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we did a Italy, and then we did some festivals with him for 3 weeks. Maybe my first or second year in Tower. So he was real nice to us, and we kicked the soccer ball around. But I got to be friends with his tech, who did his effects on the side of the stage. So I was this far from him, watching him do his whole deal, and I still couldn't figure it out. I mean, I can do it, but it doesn't sound the same. I know he plays super loud, but it's crazy the way he plays. I mean, he can sound like a sitar player. So, Heart Full of Soul by the Yardbirds. They hired a sitar player to do that originally, but he couldn't play in 4/4 because, Indian music is...
Right.
Have you ever been to a Ravi Shankar concert?
I've only seen videos of it.
Dude.
Well, clearly him and George Harrison were also tight.
We went one time, and we might have taken a few psychedelics.
Okay.
And it was a Davies Symphony, and they're doing their thing, and like 5 minutes goes down, and they're just, I don't know what the hell, I can't count what they're doing, and the whole crowd goes. So it was like one was like 183 bars and 3 beats, and they all knew where it was. And we were tripping, and then we were really tripping after that.
Yeah, it's hard to find the one when the devil's coming out of the horns.
And so then I'm trying to fit in. I want to clap, and they're going 7. They're going 7 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. But 5 minutes down the road, and the whole crowd was just right there. It was crazy. I wish it would have been straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how good he was.
Well, what was the first time you were starstruck? Like when you met or played?
Willie Mays. Oh, music.
Oh, that's
okay.
a good one.
Starstruck.
Like you ever just like almost like, holy cow, I'm meeting this guy. This is.
Well, what made me speechless and talk like an idiot was Ringo for sure. I had a chance to meet a Beatle and I just dropped the ball, man.
Oh yeah.
I just dropped the ball. I was really nervous, and my wife at the time was with me, and who couldn't talk in public at all, but she was all cool that night. Hey Ringo, come here, and I'm just like, oh God, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? So I knew Marjorie Bach, who's now married to Joe Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
So sisters with Barbara, who's married to Ringo. They kept calling him Richie. Richie, take a picture. I'm going, who the fuck's Richie? Richie,
Mm-hmm.
It's Ringo. That's his real name. But can you take a picture with Jeff from Three Dog Night? And I'm going, oh God. I was never in Three Dog Night. I'm going, this is not going well. So he looks at me and he goes, you got the camera? And all I could think of to say was a line from Fletch.
Yeah.
No, I'm leasing one with an option to buy. And the way he looked at me was like, man, you're really weird. And I just, as soon as it went out of my mouth, I went, oh, well, there it was. My chance to meet a Beatle. I'm doing Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Jesus.
If you would have done something for Monty Python, you would have been.
Oh, he would have loved it, yeah. Men. But yeah, so that was the most starstruck for sure. I can't remember the first real rock star. It was probably Mickey. Oh, Eddie Money. We became real good friends because he lived in Lafayette for a while. And, I ended up working with him. He was something.
So yeah, you tell me about working with Eddie Money. I love Eddie Money.
He was great. Good dude. Miss him. Very lovable. Crazy, but good dude. Talented. Not the. He was when he was younger. Yeah, he was out there. He was hard to handle, but he was talented. He wrote those tunes. So it was more towards the end of his career. I was never in the Eddie Money band, but he had a side band in California, and I was in that. And then we wrote some tunes together, and I did a covers record with him as well, like I did with Mick. Same label. It was called Gigatone. And then he was trying to put a play together about himself, which we did. We put the music together for it, about him being a cop and moving to the Bay Area. And it was fun. Lovable dude. Funny as hell, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a character.
Yeah, that's great. All right, well, last gear question I need to ask you is, do you mess with your guitars? Do you mess with the pickups? Do you do the electronics, or do you just go everything stock?
I'm too afraid to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary Brower's been my guy for years. I'm sure you know he is.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll ask him for suggestions, but, if I'm on Fender and playing funk, I want that. I want that sound.
Yeah.
I want a telly through a twin or a deluxe and you can't duplicate that. You know that.
Mm-hmm. And
so,
and if you get a custom shop or a newer guitar,
yeah,
are you usually chasing the pickups that were designed in the 50s or replicas of that sound, or you just pick something up and kind of figure it out?
Kind of just go. So I have two custom shop tellies, and they sound different, but they both have purpose. All my Strats are a little different. I think I have Kinmans on one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a custom shop with 52s, and then I have another one with Duncans. So, different colors. But, yeah, basically I try to capture that Stratty, even through a Marshall, Tommy Bolin tone,
Mm-hmm.
or Beck, or Roy Gallagher, where they had that Gilmore.
Did you bring up Tommy Bolin as in teaser Tommy Bolin?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I love that album.
Yeah. Yeah, he was something.
Yeah.
He died too young. But he was I thought he was the closest thing to Beck for an American who because I think he took Joe Walsh's place and Blackmore, right?
Mm-hmm. Sounds right. Yeah.
James Gang and Deep Purple. And, yeah, he was something. He's the Billy Cobham Spectrum record. He really shines.
Cool. I don't hear that name very much. Tommy Bolin.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what about Danville Music? Can we talk about them?
What about those guys?
Great store. best store in the Bay Area.
Thank you.
Really, seriously, you guys, great crew, and your equipment, everything is like, what? Yeah, you have things no one else has. Some of the bigger stores that I will not mention.
Well, we I gotta say, in terms of bigger stores, the bigger stores have been very kind to us. They refer some people to us, and honestly,
That's great.
I have nostalgia about it, and I built off that. My father was a electrician. We used to work on mini storages like the security systems, the wrought iron gates. And anytime we go to a different store in California, the candy store was whatever city we're in, we're going to go into. Oftentimes it was a Guitar Center or
Yeah.
a starving musician,
Great
or
place.
something like that too.
They closed down, unfortunately.
Is the one in Santa Cruz still open?
That's probably still that. The Berkeley
Okay.
one closed.
Okay, that's unfortunate. I mean, we used to have Univibe, Black Market Music, and we had a lot of great stores.
Chris
Spitzer's.
Romano, right?
Yeah.
Black Market Music. Spitzer's, yeah. That was Mao's music before that.
Yep. My dad knew those guys.
Michael Mao played in a band called Stoneground.
Okay.
They were another 70s, kind of the Round Tower, Cold Blood, Boss Skaggs, Elvin,
Mm-hmm.
that whole kind of that period, probably 71 to 74. And Mike Mao was the drummer in that band. And then Brad Mao, still around, has Consumer Music in Vallejo.
Okay.
That's his store.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. No, it's fun doing the music store, and we really do try to we try to make our mission statement just being the music store that we would want to walk into.
Yeah.
And I find that if you've got good gear, you've got good people and people who really care and people who are not pushy. We don't have meetings behind closed doors. We're like, okay, we're going to push this one brand. I don't think that's the way to be. I think the way to be is to figure out what people want and then just give them options and say, you pick it. And really, anything we sell, we want people to be over the moon excited about it. And we just say, if you're not excited about this, then don't buy it.
Right.
We're not trying to be pushers.
Who's the pedal freak? You?
I'm the guy. Yeah.
Well, you know what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Because all the pedals you have are, I think the highest quality. My opinion.
Thank you.
There's so many companies now.
Well, before I had a music store, because my dad was an electrician, he convinced a couple of different pedal companies like Electro Harmonics and DOD that he was actually a dealer because he had his business was R&R Electronics.
DOD, wow.
Yeah, remember those?
Yeah.
And he convinced them that he was a dealer, so he would do that so I could, I'd spend my money I worked on construction, or before that I was a paper boy, and I would buy Electro Harmonics pedals because the stuff I was listening to, I grew up on the Hendrix, the Zeppelin, so
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. So with Pink Floyd, when I first heard that, I'm like, I'm gonna get delays and phasers. And,
Memory Man, right?
yeah, the Deluxe Memory Man. I
Yeah.
still have it, the old brick thing.
They were great.
Still have it, and I won't get rid of that. I've replaced a lot of that stuff with like the Strymon delays.
Good stuff.
And what I've done is I have an original Super Reverb that was also my dad's, 4x10, and I've got an original Deluxe Memory Man. So with Strymon, what I do is I A/B my Super Reverb and the Strymon Reverb pedal, and I just click them on and off, and I just tweak it till I can't hear the difference anymore. I'm like, now I got it.
Yeah.
And then Deluxe Memory Man, I have a Strymon Timeline, which in my opinion is the best delay pedal out there.
I'll have to check that out.
It's a fantastic. All right, you know what? We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. I need a beer.
Musicians, it's Black Friday, so put that turkey leg down. Come on down to Danville Music. We've got all the best guitars. We've got all the best gear. Join us at Danville Music or danvillemusic.com, your local music store.
All right, one of the artists that you work with that I've run into several times, who's just a sweetheart and a great vocalist, works with Santana, is Tony Lindsay. So I know that you and him have played together as a duo or a group, or how's it working?
A little of both, but we play with the duo a lot. You know, if it calls for a band, we can throw one together. And he works a lot. He has a lot of things going on, but he's wonderful. He's a world-class A-League singer. Fun dude. Great. We have a similar sense of humor, which always makes it funner.
Right.
So I do duos with probably 4 different people, all different sets, which is great. You know, Drew Harrison, he's the Beatle guy.
Mm-hmm.
Darby Gould, who I work with a lot. It's kind of more female, all the female stuff. She sings with Big Brother now. She sang with the Jefferson Starship, so she kind of has that bag down.
Man, she had to go from Janice to Grace Slick.
Yeah, she's the only one to replace them both.
Wow.
Bless her heart. She's going through some health issues, so let's put out good vibes for her, please.
Absolutely.
And then there's a couple other people I work with. I just kind of keep it fresh, you know. David Martin and I play together. Buzztones, David Martin, the whole Lloyds. And on purpose, it's never the same song. You know, like I said earlier, I love the Love and Spoonful, the Buffalo Springfield in that period.
Mm-hmm.
So one band kind of covers that. Drew, we do all the Beatles, John Lennon stuff. Darby's more female-oriented, Bonnie Raitt, Aretha.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I can get my Jones in many different ways.
So you're a fantastic guitar player. I've seen you play a couple times.
Thank you.
Or more than a couple. And your tone is great. It's got to be tough picking and choosing which gigs you do and how you manage your time. What does that look like for you?
Good question. I'm going to probably pull it back a little bit because I have been working a lot live. I missed it for so long after I stopped touring like 2008, and I got the gig with Track Shack, so I mainly produced, you know. It was great. 5 days a week I was producing and playing guitar and, you know, arranging, but eventually you miss the other. So now I think I find a good balance between the two.
Okay, so tell me what's different about how you approach things as a producer versus as a guitar player.
Well, I would say the simplicity parts thing still comes in. When you're playing live, you got to be a little less anal, I think. It's got to be more loose and fun,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whereas dependent on the band, of course, you know, you have to kind of micromanage the music, the egos, the who's asked you get up, who you kind of kid gloving. You know, you got to kind of see it like a coach.
Yeah.
How are you going to get the best out of them?
Do you like that?
I love it.
Okay. And you,
especially if it works.
and you were telling me on one of our breaks that your father was a really good coach. Do you take a lot of cues from some of his mannerisms, and do you have any wisdom to impart to people who are getting into production and how to coach people better?
I think so now. I do, because you have to. You got to be elastic with it. There's a big gray area there. You have to, you know, you got to see the whole field. And, well, I mean, this guy's a little insecure, so let's pump him up. Same, you know. Whereas another guy, you know, you might have to go, you know, dude, come on, you got to tone it down a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's challenging, but it's really fun, especially if everybody buys into it, which most times they do, because that's what they hire a producer for, because they can't do it themselves.
Right.
You know. But it's super fun, and then at the end, when it all worked, if everybody's happy, it's, you know, you talk to these people the rest of your lives, you know.
Right. It's intimate.
Because it's such a good experience, you know. And the ones that don't, you never hear from them again.
I imagine that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like,
well, it's not a good thing either, you know, because, you know, that means I kind of maybe failed at that. Even if they were just out of line or just, you know, just didn't have it, I still tried my best to make it so they did have it.
Gotcha.
And if you pull stuff out of people that they don't even know they have, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you do that at the Track Shack? And are you behind the board?
No, I have an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't do that.
No.
That's a whole other thing.
Okay, but do you just familiarize yourself with the equipment that's used?
I know what sounds good. When it sounds good to me, I have the engineer I work with there and at Studio D in Sausalito, I have a good relationship with, where I can explain to them, I need this, but I don't put out like, I need 5K. I don't get that.
Okay, gotcha.
That's for an engineer.
Right. And what are some of your favorite microphones? If you were to have a couple in the stable, like what are the things that work best for you, and the things that work well not only in live situations but in studio situations?
Different. It's going to be different because you can't use U47s live. I guess you could, but it's just too much, right?
You'd want to up your insurance policy.
Yeah. So those mics are outstanding in a studio, but for live, you're going to see a lot of 57s, 58s, Audix, because they're durable. And still to this day, when I record guitar, I either use a 57 or a 409 Sennheiser on the speaker.
Those 609s, you mean?
609.
Yeah.
Yeah. The new one's the 409. Or the old one was the 409. I have a 609. And then, if I want to have a little room, then we can put like a 103 or even a U47 or U87, something, a good room mic.
Yeah.
At least for guitar. And then I'll usually throw a direct track in there just because, now everybody wants to use plugins, so I'll give them the option.
It seems pretty difficult to screw up a guitar tone.
It really does.
It's for me, it's either, for live situations, it's either a 57 or a 609. If it's a small bar, I'm almost always going with a 609 because I'm not going to knock into the mic stand.
Right.
Like that.
I do. I have one. I carry one with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's got to be kind of pure and not too good.
Yep.
It's got to be kind of flat, like NS10s in the studio.
Yep.
They're kind of flat, but if they sound good on flat speakers, they're going to be phenomenal on.
Yeah, it means every application from old Pioneer receivers to Macintosh things, you're going to hear a good sound, right?
Yeah.
Do you notice? Did you change the way you do tone live after mixing and doing session work?
Yes, sometimes. I mean, if it's a like a distinctive tone that needs to be there, yes, absolutely. You got to get some sort of pedal that does that, but that's rare, That's rare. I don't really play too much with people I produce. Every once in a while, so I just kind of hone in on my sound right now.
Cool. And then season to taste after that.
Yeah. I mean, I have an AC. I have a Vox. I have an Orange. I have a Vibra King. So they're all different flavors. I have hopefully a Milkman soon. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
If I had a ton of money, I'd probably have more. I'd love to have a little Princeton again. I love high watts.
Oh, those are amazing.
You got to turn them up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Find a high watt under 50 watts, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Gilmore uses?
Yeah.
I think that's his thing.
Tommy Bolin used them. Townsend. Townsend uses Vibra Kings now, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he has 3 of them with those come with 2 12 cabinets, 3 10s, and then 2 12s is the extra cabinet. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, sadly, for what I play, for the most part, I got to use smaller. Anything under 20 watts is what I try to stick to because I know I can scale up easily.
Yeah.
But it's harder to scale down.
Well, the gigs I do now, that's all I need. I'm not really doing anything. And even if I do, I just kind of point it up at me, and
Yep.
which sound men love.
Well, yeah. I mean, I said this in the last podcast, but I encourage every guitar player, to mix sound for band once.
Yeah.
Just so you know what they're complaining about.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But
And if you dial tone when you have your amp on the ground and you don't hear it in your ears, you end up turning up too much trebles.
Exactly.
Now you're ice picky to the audience, and now you're the most hated man in the room.
Yeah. So of late, I have one of those little stands, and I just point it at me like a monitor. I use a Blues Junior a lot, which is just a great, simple,
Isn't it good?
incredible.
Yeah.
Get it where I want it, and it's not too loud, and then hopefully the soundman doesn't change anything.
No matter what you do, you're always at the mercy of the sound guy.
Yeah, you are. Normally, and most of the times they go, we didn't do anything to your EQ. It's fine.
That means you're doing your job right.
I guess so. I guessed right that night. So yeah.
Or they couldn't be bothered. They
Right,
just went
right.
somewhere else.
Right. They were picking up chicks with their
Yeah.
iPads.
Yeah, sound guys get all the chicks, right?
No.
Yeah.
And Midnight Flyer, yeah, still.
Yeah.
I did a gig with Matt. He's fun.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, he's great voice too.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah, and he's fun. We have fun doing that, and playing Midnight Flyer is been great. When I play with Midnight Flyer, which is an Eagles tribute band for the listeners,
they're very good.
So I found myself becoming better and better because, for me, learning the Eagles arrangements, I do the Joe Walsh parts for the most part. And it's like Sudoku for me because after dealing with all the stuff at the store, I get home, I've got to be dad for a while.
Yeah.
And the minute my kids go to sleep, I'm going over parts just so I don't screw them up because if you don't, they're an arrangement band. You can do a little bit of improvisation.
They were late. They were when Felder and Walsh get in.
Yeah.
The Bernie Ledden stuff was more kind of loose.
Well, I find that if you're going to get crucified if you don't play the solos properly.
Yeah, that's probably the only drag of tribute band is.
Well, I think of it as Sudoku or just to keep my mind sharp, just to get my memory going, so I don't lose it. I oftentimes when the kids go to bed, I'll start going over the Joe Walsh parts.
He's another 4-note guy. He just never gets dull. Him, Beck, Peter Green was like that.
Yep.
It just never got dull.
Well, so Joe Walsh, I first got into him because my dad had a bunch of CDs and some vinyl, and he had the James Gang stuff. And The Bomber was that song.
Love The Bomber.
When he uses a slide and it goes on that like really trippy heavy delay thing. Love it.
And then Funk 49.
Oh yeah.
That's Telly in your face.
Oh yeah. So so for when we do it live, they released a 51 reissue that was this like off-white, this almost transparent white. I bought the Telly because I'm going to bitch a little bit. Can I do a little bit of bitching?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I get it all day.
So when you when you get a Fender reissue, they do it exactly to the specs.
Yeah.
And my bitching, which actually ends up being something that helps the store out, is that Fender will release a bunch of stuff, and a lot of times I'll get it in. I'm like, they didn't set the truss rod right.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. And with the old reissues, that means you have to take the 4 bolts off, take the neck off, and then do the screwdriver thing.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I've gotten good at it, though. And it ends up being something that helps out the store because I know a lot of other stores aren't going to do that, which means the fact that I'm taking the time to do it is going to we're going to sell that guitar because it sounds great.
Yeah.
So I use a Telly. I found they just released something that was a prototype color for Buck Owens, and it's like a transparent off-white. I usually love the classic butterscotch Telly.
Yeah.
I think of like the Born to Run cover and all that sort of thing. Right? So
that was a no caster, right?
Not exactly a no caster. No,
Yeah.
it was like the era just afterwards, maybe.
Oh.
Because they originally had for listeners, they had something called the Broadcaster, which Gretsch was already making something called the Broadcaster. So then they released guitars with no label on it, and they call it the No Caster. So mine says Telecaster on it, and I had to take the neck off begrudgingly. I'm like, fuck, I gotta take this neck off, take the whole thing off, and then I put it back on, and I got to the point where I knew exactly how much to twist it before I put it on, so I don't have to do it 50 times. And then I strummed a G chord on this thing. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds great. Yeah. I'm taking this home.
Yeah.
And it just had that magic to it. And they're using the 51 pickups. And the one big part about the older Telecaster pickups, the difference between having your neck pickup mounted on the pickguard versus drilled into the body is huge.
Really?
Yeah, because when you drill the neck pickup, the lipstick thing, into the body, you get more bass response. And to me, the Telecasters, when you have them on the pickguard, it's not better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah.
It sounds more stratty to me.
I always thought, Fenders are thin for a reason. There's a thinness that makes them Fenders, and I don't mean thin in a bad way. I think more cut.
Well, I mean, they go back to the Bakersfield, like Bob Willis and the Texas Cowboy, like
Playboys.
that,
Yeah,
Playboys,
they were
sorry,
great.
Playboys.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. And again, it's like the mix. I constantly refer to the VH1 Classic records. You remember that series?
yeah.
And when they would solo a guitar solo,
Yeah.
they press that button and you really hear it. It sounds anemic and weak.
Yeah.
And then they put the rest of the band in
And
it.
it's
and just,
perfect.
It's great.
It's perfect. It's yeah.
Yeah.
And in the stew we call it.
Yeah.
In the roux for New Orleans.
Yeah. So when I'm doing the Eagles tribute band Midnight Flyer, our other guitar player is almost constantly playing Gibsons.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well then
How's he doing, by the way? He took a lesson from me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, a long time ago. He was great.
Yeah, he sounds great.
Yeah,
He's
you guys are
good.
good. You guys sound wonderful. I mean, that music's, it's a thing. You can't really fake it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's
parts,
fun.
like you said. It's really a parts band.
Yeah, and it's also a blend band because we got not only like the 3 guitar players. So sometimes Matt picks up a 12 string.
Yeah.
So my job is not to get the best tone for me. My job is to blend.
Right.
And so with the other with Marcus playing Gibsons, my rig is I've got the 51 Telecaster I told you about, and then I've got the 57 Strat reissue
Right.
with the soft V-neck, and I put Lindy Fralin pickups in there, and then I use a Duesenberg Star Player TV phonic, and that guitar is just anytime I bring that out, it looks like a Gretsch, like it's semi-hollow. And it's white and gold. I've seen videos of Mike Campbell like using.
Oh, that
the same
guitar,
exact-
yeah.
Oh man, that guitar.
There's a tone god right there.
Oh my God, it sounds great. And I will have guitar guys coming up to me after the show, and they won't say anything about the Teller or the Strat. They're like, "Man, that Duesenberg sounds great."
Do you have that at your store?
Yeah,
I thought I saw one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Don't let
guitar.
me buy it, please.
I will. Yeah, we'll have an intervention. With
Yeah. How many more guitars do you need? Just one more.
Just one more.
Yeah.
So, but my main tone is I got the 57 Champ reissue. So Fender did a really cool thing to where they reissue the hand-wired amps.
Yeah.
So they got a Princeton hand-wired.
Yeah.
And I got the 57 Champ, 8-inch speaker, 5 watts, and then I use the Brown amplification protein pedal, which is a dual overdrive that has a Marshall Bluesbreaker circuit on one side and the Nobles ODR.
Is that JHS?
JHS does a version of the Bluesbreaker, but
Right.
Marshall was the
It's a
original.
Marshall. Okay.
Marshall Bluesbreaker. It's based on that circuit, and that's the majority. That and I use the Strymon Flint for not only my reverb.
Yeah.
Again, I dialed it up so I couldn't tell the difference between it and my super reverb.
Yeah.
And then the other side they have tremolo, but you can get the harmonic tremolo, which a lot of Eagles tracks have that.
Right.
But
yeah.
when I use my telly and then I just crank my 57 Champ up to like 7 or 8.
There you go.
That's Funk 49.
Yeah, that's
and
Funk 49.
It's also Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
Like I mean that amp was used all over that.
Larry Carlton, Kid Charlemagne too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
That surprised me because he was kind of a 335 boogie guy.
Mm-hmm.
He said no, it was either a pro or a small Fender, and he just pinned it. And
Yeah. I mean the Champ sounds good in your bedroom, but when you put a 57 and you hear it through big mains,
it's incredible.
it's great.
Yeah.
It cuts.
Yeah, it cuts.
And it's one volume knob. That's it. There's no bullshit.
Simple.
Yep. Well, I think we're getting ready to the end, but I wanted to say, do you have any advice for any young guitar players? Like, if you're 13 or 14 and you're starting your trajectory, and what was
Only one.
What's that?
Learn to play rhythm guitar.
That's great advice.
That's it. Learn to play rhythm guitar. Learn to play with others. If you're all on the same page, that's where the magic happens. But if you're going to sit and learn chops off YouTube, you'll be in the back of a guitar center and they go, man, that kid can really play, but he can't play with anybody. You got to be able to play with others, and that's rhythm. That's rhythm. That's rhythm guitar. That's parts. That's understanding rhythm section. How if we're all doing that and we're all kind of listening to each other, that's where the magic's going to happen. That's it.
Excellent.
And come to the brewery when you turn 21.
Come to the Hopgren.
Come to the hop.
Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for your time.
Anytime.
And your wisdom.
Okay. Thank you for this hand soap. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this is a great place, man. Thank you for having me, and always good. Anytime.
Always a pleasure.
Add in.
I was told I could play guitar at a reasonable volume at Danville Music the Store or at danvillemusic.com. Thank you.